Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about Our Boys Season 1, Episode 1. Well, it's a mini-series, so just Episode 1. It's called Out of the Depths, I Cry to You. So,
hmm
we'll start spoiler-free, as we do for Episode 1s, because it's an Episode 1, and admittedly, because it's based on true events, obviously the events themselves can't be spoiled, but obviously we don't want to spoil the way they handle certain moments and things like that. So,
hmm
and obviously I feel like a lot of people might not necessarily know all the events, because I actually knew little to none of any of this, to be honest.
I'm gonna say it right now. I don't know anything about this
Yeah,
situation.
neither do I. I
This is gonna be very much like our Chernobyl reviews. So if you're hoping for a review channel that goes really in depth with research, that's not what we do here.
no. Yeah, if you're thinking we're going to say, oh, this is how accurate this is or whatever, we have no idea how accurate this is. We
Yeah.
are viewing this purely as a TV show and talking about how they present the story and what they do with it, and so on and so on.
Mhm.
So yeah, so this is set in Israel, 2014, and it's about the abduction or the kidnapping of three teenage boys, which sparks hysteria. I'll call it at this point. Um,
Yeah.
and this first episode, we hear about this kidnapping at the start. They do kind of the, I don't know. I assume it's a fake version of it. The police phone call.
Oh, really? I assumed it was
You
real.
assumed it was
The
real?
like the
Okay.
911 call.
Yeah.
It's not
Um,
911, I
it's not
guess. I
911 in
don't know what they
Israel.
have in
Yeah.
Israel, but something equivalent to that.
Yeah.
An emergency channel call.
Yeah. Maybe it was because I do think there was some real stock footage of crowds in this praying and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was like, they didn't get all these extras. They didn't do this.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Although there were some scenes where either the actor is superimposed into it or
Sure.
that they just recreated it. And they did have quite a few extras, but yeah, not
Well, I think
not the crowds that are there.
yeah, they had you'd be surprised with how well they can just get enough extras to fill a shot, but there's like nothing
Sure.
around the frame. But there's shots in this where like it looks down the street and there's just like thousands of people. And it's like no, this is probably just stock.
Yeah.
Unless it's CG, but it doesn't feel like CG to me in
No, no,
this.
no. And even like the video quality seems lower as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it seems
it feels like it goes down. It's as if it was shifted to news footage for a couple of seconds.
right, but it doesn't take you out. It just
Sure.
reminds you that this is a real event.
Yeah, well, the whole thing has the way it cuts around very quickly, almost to the point I'd say it's quite overwhelming at the start, where it's cutting around all these things very quickly. It feels like a documentary almost until it kind of gets going a
Mhm.
bit more, and you start to get to know the characters, and it feels a bit more dramatized at that point. But the start of it feels like a crime document. Well, yeah, crime documentary because
Yeah, very
even
much
though
so.
it evolves beyond crime, obviously, because it becomes this big conflict, and we as we get further away from the reaction, but the start of it is about three missing kidnapped victims, and they're talking about looking for the boys, and then like, oh, are we going to find bodies and things like that. So it feels like a crime thing immediately.
Yeah, something from the ID channel, which I don't know if you have in
Oh yeah,
Scotland, but
oh yeah. We have the idea. We have ID
in
channel. We
in
also.
America, it's always if you have a mother, they're watching the ID channel.
Oh, I know this because I have a mother, and that's all she watches. She watches two
Yeah,
channels. She watches
exactly.
the ID channel, and then I don't know if it's still called this, but there's a Discovery one as well called Discovery Investigation. I think it's called,
Ooh,
or
I don't know.
something like that. But
I'm sure my mother knows.
it's one of the because obviously back in the early days of like cable and that there was like just one Discovery channel, but then when it went digital, it was
Mhm.
like oh no, there's 10 Discovery channels. There's the
Yeah, well, we have
Discovery.
to fill 1,500 channels,
Yeah,
so
there's
yeah.
Discovery Home and Garden. There's Discovery, automobiles, and one of them was Discovery
And
Investigation,
every one of them has a Shark Week.
and every one of them would have a Shark Week. Yes. Um. So
Shark Week Home and Garden. That's interesting.
Shark Week Home and Garden. Is it like a pond? They got a little baby shark in a pond.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I'm just making it up.
I don't know, I'm theorizing. So no, so we have this very. I'd say I'd describe this first episode as being about the tension because the detective that we kind of he's not the only character we follow, but the detective we follow in that
No, there's
side.
like three main storylines
Yeah.
that we're going through.
But he gets very concerned very early on that there's all this praying. There's like the parents of the boys are on TV saying, "Oh, we believe
Mhm.
God will return them to us," and like everyone believes they're coming back. And he, being a cop, is like, "I think they're already dead. Like it's been too long." Because at this point, it's like been 2 weeks since they've been
Yeah.
missing.
I think it's like 17 days or something that we
Yeah.
really start to get into the investigation side on his story. And I think, yeah, his concern is not that they're turning to God, but that there is a mob outside, a crowd that is getting larger and larger and larger, and they're all praying and they're all like uh,
And there's already this
blaming.
tension. Yeah, there's already this tension between the main population, which is Jewish, and then the Arab population, which is being automatically blamed as the culprits. And I mean, I don't know anything about the story. I don't know if we find out who did it.
I think we know it's the Hamas group that took the
Oh, we do know that.
three
Okay.
kids. Well,
Yeah.
they say boys. They're not really kids at this point. I think they're like 17,
Yeah.
19
Yeah.
age.
They're late teens.
I think
Yeah.
one might have been 15. Yeah.
Um. So yeah, so it's a bit of a powder keg, right? This is getting ready to go. And the idea that he's concerned that if the boys turn up dead, and because the way he puts it in the scene is the idea is that this hope is like a balloon. It keeps getting bigger,
Yeah.
and the bigger it is, the worse the pop's going to be. And
Right.
he's concerned. He wants to try and like maybe dampen expectations, but no one's willing to go along with it, and so on and so on. So
Right. He is concerned because not only that, but these crowds, these giant crowds that are gathering with for all the prayers that they do for the boys that are missing, the type of rhetoric that's going around is also concerning him because there are these leaders
mm,
like who are engaging and enraging the masses. And I think that's really what's concerning him the most is that these kind of leaders can inspire a lot of anger as
yeah,
well as, whatever types of emotions they're getting the crowds to go. So,
yes. I have
yeah, it's
something
really,
very political to compare it to. I'm not going to do it.
it's okay.
No, no,
I
it's not.
think you're
It's not because of
safe.
you. It's just because I don't want to turn the video in that direction. Um, so what I will say is that the reason why I explained his plot a bit more there, though, is because I feel like the other plots, because we follow two other like teenagers who are about the age of the boys that were taken, and
Hmm.
we follow them. One is a Jewish guy, and he is. We get the sense that he is trained to be a rabbi. I believe that's what I got from it anyway, from his
Yeah, he's
scenes.
doing something with he has a career lined up in the religion, like studying the ancient texts,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's exactly a
yeah.
rabbi or
I
if
mean,
it's something else.
we should point out at this point probably that both of us are atheist people, and um, everything I learned about the Jewish, because there's some common things about Jewish faith that you just know from just common knowledge, right? But
Yeah,
a
I've
lot of
read the
this
Torah.
stuff,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, a lot of this stuff though is like stuff that's beyond my general knowledge. I
Yeah, it's true. I mean, for all religions, though, I've always
sure,
been on the
yeah.
outside looking in. I've been,
No,
atheist or agnostic my entire life. So that's just sort of how I've always looked at religion.
yeah.
So
I mean, I naturally know more about Christianity just because it's the one that's kind of around, you know,
Mhm.
in our culture a bit
Yeah.
more. But like,
And I don't have any, I think that's one of the reasons why I don't have a lot of knowledge of these events because I'm not attached to that religion. So I don't really,
yeah,
I'm not invested in what happens over there, which is a shame, sure. But, you're always going to be more invested in where you live.
yeah. Um, so I'm saying that because if I say anything silly about the way this religion works, that's why. And that goes on both sides. That obviously goes on the Arab side as well.
For the
But
Palestine
yeah.
group, yeah.
So like so this is kind of mounting. So we have the Jewish kid, um, and we also have this Arab kid whose name's Muhammad. And one of the things the episode does very well is that throughout the episode we know these tensions are rising. We keep coming back to these two kids, and I think it does that really smart thing where it makes you have enough sympathy for these people as human beings, and that's important
Hmm.
because when things go down at the end of the episode and like danger might be coming or whatever, you have some context, and you because I think one of the important things here is that I think from the context of the show, I don't expect that we're going to get like one side as the villainous side. I don't really
Oh
get that.
no, I heard that the show was developed by both like somebody from the Israeli side and people from the Palestinian side. So like it's a group effort to make
That's
this
interesting. Yeah,
movie
that's,
series.
that's interesting. And you almost get the impression that these are probably people from both sides who want to show all the mistakes that are being made here because they don't want
Right.
things like this to happen. They want
Yes,
peace of some
I
kind.
very much get the impression
Yeah.
that this, much like Chernobyl was about the cost of lies, this
Mm.
is going to have a message of like uh, mob
Yeah.
mentality, maybe, or and leading to hate crimes, stuff like that.
And unlike Chernobyl, of course, this is actually made in its like location of premise.
Right.
So
So
it's
you
all
don't have to deal with
subtitled.
accents.
Yeah,
You have to deal. Yeah.
it's all subtitled.
You
It's
don't have
all
to worry
it's
about
all
that.
in either Hebrew or Arabic. Um,
Hmm.
and I do love that the subtitles, because there's a couple of moments where it's important which one they're speaking, and I do have to
Yes.
admit I need the subtitles to tell me which one they were speaking, because I honestly they sound the same to me.
Well, yeah, we don't have any experience with the language.
Yeah. Um, you know, what's impressive about Hebrew to me? There's a really kind of like there's like a really sort of there's like a sound to it like I just can't physically do with my mouth if I try. There's a
Hmm.
really like back. I feel like coming from the
Yeah,
back of the
so
throat. You know.
yes.
So I was thinking about that because I don't think I've ever watched anything in Hebrew before. So I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, I've never heard so many people speaking Hebrew this
No.
consistently.
I think the most I've maybe heard it from was from the musical Fiddler on the Roof.
Interesting. Interesting.
Great movie.
So no, honestly, I honestly don't think I've even ever seen this much of Israel as a place before. Like I don't think I've seen the odd
Mm.
clip in the news or something because something's been happening, but I've never just seen like a movie or a TV show just set in Israel like this and going around the streets. And in fact,
No, me neither. I'm learning a lot.
one thing I'd complain about actually is that it does this thing where every single location has a caption saying this is this neighborhood in this part of Jerusalem or near Jerusalem or whatever, right?
Yeah, I
And
can tell you right now that I didn't keep up with all
oh,
those.
exactly. No, this is the problem: is that unless, like, if you have a couple of these for a couple of important locations, we're going to keep coming back to. That's fine. You'll
Hmm.
remember them because you'll keep coming back to them. See, when you do it for every location like that, you remember none of them. None of them are
Nothing.
important.
Yeah. And there was one part because it started off at like 17 days after the boys went
Mm,
missing. And then you got to like three of those things during the course of a day. And then the next, all of a sudden you're in a scene or like the 18th day that the boys have been missing. Like, oh, I thought it was a lot more because they kept showing, now we're over here and then now we're over
yeah,
there. And it's this time of day on this day. And I didn't keep track. So it felt like a lot more time had passed, but it was actually only one day
yeah.
because they
Um,
kept doing that.
no, it's a problem because I halfway through the episode, it's like, why are you telling me? Like, because I thought the first couple, I thought, oh, these will be important locations, and that's why they're telling me. But then they did it for every single street that anyone went to, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, you know what? Like, I don't need to have this in depth, like, captioning
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
locations. So no, it's interesting. And I guess the one thing we've not really spoken about yet is, did you like the episode? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I really did. You could tell it's really well done. It's about a subject that I don't really know, but it's done in a style that I like. I mean, we're obviously big fans of Chernobyl if you watch the reviews for that. It also sort of reminds me of a movie called Patriots Day, where it does a very similar thing where it takes stock footage and dramatized events and like mixes it together to tell you about an event that happened, I think, in 2014, same year, which is a movie that I really like a lot too. And yeah, I'm really into it. The three characters that we really followed throughout this episode, I thought were compelling.
Hmm?
I found something in each of them that was really relatable. I think I'm most invested in the main investigator,
Uh,
Simon.
Simon, yes.
Yeah, Simon.
Do you know, I almost said Chester, and the reason why I was
Who
going
is
to say
Chester?
it was me and Connor earlier tonight reviewed a show and the main character was named Chester, and I watched two episode ones tonight and I was just
Oh,
mixing
okay.
up the two main characters. So yeah, it's Simon.
Yeah, episode two was released at the same time as one, but we're not doing that. We're doing them separate.
Yes,
So
yes,
you'll
yes.
get
We're
to soon, but
focusing on
not
one.
today.
Hey,
Yeah.
I think this back to back might have been too intense for 2 hours. I mean the
Yeah,
reason.
but I don't know. It ends on a real like
Oh, it does.
engaging spot where I'm like, okay, I want to see what happens next.
No, I
Did you
think
like it?
No, I liked it as well, and I think I wasn't sure early on. I was a little bit worried it was too overwhelming, and I know so little of the conflict and the tensions. Like I know like the broadest stroke possible, so I felt like
Yeah.
I don't know what this world is. Like it's just so alien to me. But
Yeah.
once it started
I
getting
know
a bit,
there's a two-state solution.
yeah,
And I recognized Netanyahu when he showed up, but that's it.
once, and I mean I don't even know who that is, so you know more than I do.
Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu. He's the Prime Minister of Israel.
See, look, I've learned something. But no, see, once it got more personal, I really stuck because I like the style. It felt slick in the way it was put together. But
Yeah,
the
definitely.
the crime documentary feel of the first like 10 minutes does make it hard to take all the information in, like and sort of understand the relevance of this. But as I went through it, the context and it started to work better for me. And I
Hmm.
think what's neat about the three main characters is you've got two teenagers who are on either side of the line, as it were, right? You've got one Muslim kid, one Jewish kid, and then you have this cop who like he is Jewish, but like he kind of represents this almost attempt at balance in the middle. Like he's trying to maintain peace. Like that's his
Right.
goal.
There's a really great line in the episode, you probably remember it, that stood out where I think it's like his boss or something, his coworker says like, "You're the only one here who's not emotionally invested in what's going on." And it's one of those lines that you're like, yeah, that's what any detective or cop is supposed to be. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to be emotionally invested in this, but it really says a lot about what everybody else's mentality is around him. That no wonder this is such a dangerous situation because everybody
Mm.
is emotionally invested, even the people who aren't supposed to be.
Yeah.
And he's the odd one out, you know?
And I would love to hear. I would love to hear from people who know. Like, is that the mentality? Is that like just a common thing in
I
Israel?
imagine so. I
You know?
mean, these nations have been, at war for centuries, right? Over this one piece of land.
Yeah, which says to me they know how to hold a grudge. Like they don't let it go.
I'm sure not only that, but it's just continuous. It's a constant thing. Like if you're on one side, then you're against the other. And I'm
Yeah,
sure they have peacetime, but there's always tension.
yeah. Because I looked up stuff and I was wondering what the breakdown was, what the percentages was of like, and it was like 70 something percent was Jewish, 20 something percent is Arab, and then there was like 4% other, and I'm like, what does it feel like to be in Israel but and be in the other? Like to be whatever, like whatever makes up the other, all the other religions or lack
Right.
thereof. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a holy land for Christianity too. So maybe the 4%'s like Christian
yeah, maybe.
and plus other, I don't know.
Yeah, there's another one above that. I think I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I was curious what because so it is a lot more Jewish than it is Arab. Like the breakdown
Hmm.
is pretty significant, um, and you get that sense in this because when the Arab kid Muhammad goes to the city, you get this sense that he shouldn't speak Arabic in front of people. Like his
Hmm.
friend says, no, don't do that. Like here's a sentence you can say in Hebrew. Say that if anyone speaks to you, kind of thing.
You also get the impression that they're the minority because they're the ones that have like the real blue collar jobs.
Mm.
You meet Muhammad's family and they're like working in construction, they have like a family job. When he says he wants to go outside the family business to find work, his mother looks at him like, "You're not going to be able to do that." And he's like, "I'll just work for the Jews." And, because they have the jobs, they are the ones that, you know, they're the majority. So,
Yeah, I yeah, I don't want to go too much into this stuff now because spoilers. But I think we're almost ready to
oh,
go
yeah,
go there. To
okay.
be honest, um, but
Yeah, so far I'm into it and I'd say
yeah,
I
I'm into it.
recommend it.
Yeah, I'm into doing more. I'm into reviewing the next one and seeing how it develops. Obviously, just sometime before next Monday because that's when they are Monday nights. So, um, but no, I'm into checking out more of this. And I like because I think one of the things that I wanted to do just in general in terms of our TV reviews this year, obviously not specifically with you, just in general. Obviously, me and Connor do a lot of them. Is just because I felt like in the last year we really we were really slacking on trying some smaller things that were, because I think that we have been good in the past about bringing attention to things that other people might not know about.
Hmm.
And I want to try and cover more. And this is a foreign show that HBO are doing, but it's a foreign show, and maybe people
Yeah.
aren't as aware of it. And maybe since it is pretty good. I mean, it's not Chernobyl. I mean, episode 1 of Chernobyl blew me away. Like I was like in love with that show after that one episode.
Yeah. Well, that was very stylistic
Yeah.
too.
Whereas this is like really solid, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And this is longer as well. This is a 10 episode
Hmm.
miniseries. I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops, and for me, because I know so little about this, like I actually don't know where it's going for the most part. Like,
Me neither.
so we'll discover
And I haven't
that.
watched episode 2 yet, even though it's available. So
Well, I know because that would have ruined the review, and I said no, Tara,
exactly.
no watching episode 2 because I was reviewing too much stuff today, and I didn't have time to watch the second episode, which is why we're doing the first one. Um,
No, I agree. And I mean, like you said, this is kind of gone under the radar for a
oh
bit.
yeah,
And I did see a trailer when it popped up on the HBO YouTube channel. I watched it and thought that looked good. Maybe I'll check it out. And HBO hasn't like advertised it at all for me.
yeah, because
You know, I didn't know this was premiering. I couldn't find anything about it.
yeah, I
It
only
wasn't on Big Little Lies when we were watching that. It wasn't on Euphoria when I was watching that or Succession. So
yeah.
like
I only knew this was coming because one of our viewers on the live stream yesterday said, "Are you checking out Our Boys?" And I'm like, "What's Our Boys? What are you talking about?" And I actually messaged Tara while I was live streaming and said, "Hey, this seems like the sort of thing you'd want to review with me. Do you want to do it?"
yes.
Because this is not a Connor thing. I don't think Connor would want to do this.
Well, after his reaction to Chernobyl,
Oh
no.
sure, yeah. And it's because it's funny because Euphoria was one that I was actually kind of interested in doing, and Tara didn't watch it when it first started. It was weeks later
No,
when
I
you
did. I
was
just
it,
didn't tell you I was watching it.
you didn't tell me. But when you did tell me you were watching it, I said to you, "Oh, did it seem like something that'd be worth talking about?" You're like, "Yeah, that's because I've been a good discussion." I'm like,
Yeah, but I didn't tell you I was watching it, and I don't know, I didn't bring it up. Sorry.
"Yes." So
It's a good show though.
we're being vigilant. We're being vigilant and trying more high quality programming and reviewing said things. So without further ado, though, we'll jump into spoilers. So I don't think there's anything super spoilery in this first episode, but just in case you want to be as blind as possible, spoilers now. So here's what I liked about Muhammad's plot. Muhammad is a little shit because earlier in the episode,
He's a kid.
his dad's
Yeah.
working, at a construction site. He's I don't know what they're doing, but he's sawing into the wall and doing whatever. And Muhammad's been given this job where he's supposed to keep an eye on the saw in case it gets jammed or anything like that, so it doesn't break. And just simple little job. But he's been given this job, so his dad's trying to give him a place in the family business, as it were, right?
Hmm.
And he keeps he puts his headphones on, he's just texting on his phone, and he's not paying attention. And it happens
I don't think they're
twice.
headphones. I think they're just hearing protection.
Oh, you might be right. They look like, I mean, they weren't Beats, but they look kind of like Beats knockoffs to me.
Maybe, but I'm pretty sure he was wearing hearing protection because he was next to the big
That,
saw.
that makes sense. I just assumed he was being even more
But
of a
he was
shit.
on his phone, like
Yeah,
texting somebody. You don't really need to have headphones in for that. But he
yeah.
was, yeah.
He wasn't even looking at the saw.
He's clearly more interested who's on the other side of the text
He was
than
round the corner with his back against the wall. So the second
yeah.
time he did this, and his dad get pissed at him and said, "Okay, that's it. I'm not paying for your ticket," because he wanted to go on vacation to, I think it was Istanbul,
Hmm.
and
Not Constantinople.
yes, and he, the kid gets kind of pissed. Oh no, don't, please, I'll do better, And I'm like, I'm actually on the dad's side here. I think you're being a little shit, and
Yeah, I agree.
he goes off to get a job in the city, and obviously I think what I like about the plot with this family is that we have the dad when things go down, when they find the dead bodies of the kids late in the episode, and immediately it's like it is unsafe to be in the Jewish territory right now
Hmm.
if you're an Arab. And his dad calls him and says, "Where are you? Your mum said you went into the city. Please, come back immediately." And so
Yeah.
we get a lot of,
He says too, if you are surrounded in that area,
Yeah,
you can answer in Hebrew, and the kid clearly doesn't know how to speak Hebrew at
yeah,
all. Like he only says the one line that he was taught earlier in the episode, like 15 minutes before then.
yeah. And so obviously it's very tense. Him getting on the. I thought it was a bus at first, but they've got a really fancy tram system.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
I
it
noticed it too. It was
looks
like a
very
train.
futuristic. Yeah, because I think it was just a close up of him getting on a door, and I thought, oh, he's getting on a bus, whatever. And then it was because there was a wide shot of it going past. I'm like, oh, this is like a futuristic tram. All right, okay,
Yeah.
all right, way to go, Israel.
Cool.
Uh, but and there's all this stuff when they're like the tram is packed, so they're all standing up and squished together. And a lot of us have been in this situation. When it's busy, rush hour, and the train or the bus or whatever's packed. And
Yeah, I used to live in Japan where they hire people to actually push you into the train so that the doors will close during the rush hours.
and you're trying your best not to get an erection while you're pressed up against someone.
I tried.
It's a constant struggle, people. It really is. You hope you're just next to someone old or ugly or something, just so there's no reason to get an
I mean,
erection.
you can't predict, you know.
Yeah, and you can't predict it. You just can't. Anyway,
It's got a mind of its own.
anyway, so so it's very tense, and then there's some relief because it sort of empties out. Because there's at one point where I swore there was a dude behind him staring at him, and I was like, "Oh, is he like clocking that this kid looks?" I was getting that kind of feeling. But he gets home, and there's this great scene with his dad and his mum where they're having like a debate about how harsh he's been on him, and the mum's like, "Oh, you promised if you did well in school that you could go on this trip, so you can't take that back, even if you did something wrong." And he's like, no, he has to learn. And then the dad reveals that he's already bought the ticket, and he's like, no, but you can lie and say you bought it behind my back, so that he doesn't know that I was being nice. And he hides it under his pillow.
He still needs to have the discipline and the fear of doing better, but at least he has you.
You get just enough with the dad and the mom and the kid that you get that, okay, he's being stern because he cares about him, but he actually does, like, it's kind of, but at the end of the episode, it's kind of sweet, and you actually kind of care about the parents. And I wouldn't say I care about the kid that much. Like Mohammed, like, sure, there's some tension when he's on his way home, but I never quite got to liking him. But it doesn't matter.
I mean, he is a little shit.
He is a little shit, yes. But it doesn't matter,
so are
though,
a lot of teenage kids.
Because,
he's clearly focused on, who's on the other side of the text messaging and getting to go on a trip. And I can't say that I wasn't a little shit at that age, too. So
yeah, but you're much older, so there was no texting when you were in high school.
It's true. But what did I have? Was AOL Instant Messenger a thing?
Oh, I was
using
MSN Messenger in high school. I'll just let you know.
Oh, look at you.
Did you ever use MSN?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I used AOL for a while.
Someone sent me a link to YouTube, and it was just a 2-second clip of the notification noise from MSN, and like every high school memory came flooding back the second I heard it. It was so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Whereas now I get the Discord noise when someone talks to me. So, where was I going? Oh yeah, no, I was saying, it doesn't matter though that I don't really care about Mohammed. I mean, I don't dislike him necessarily. He's just kind of there, right?
I like the family though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The parents, I think I got enough of the parents and their concern for him that at the end of the episode, when he's clearly kidnapped, which by the way, he goes outside, right? And there's obviously a lot of hints that there's tension in the neighborhood, that someone tried to kidnap another kid that earlier that night. And which is, at that point I was thinking, why are you letting him go outside? Like, keep him in. Like, what are you doing?
Right, he was safe. He was in a safe spot. He was home. He made it through that, horrible transition of going from work back to home. But he's not a long time.
He's not even far away. He's literally he's right outside the window. He's you can still see him from the window because his mum looks down at him. He's just like on the curb. He's just sort of, and there's this great shot where you see two people coming towards him out of focus, and his friends are coming for him because he said he's going to meet someone. But I knew it right away. I was like, okay, this is it. This is like,
I didn't.
And
no, I didn't know right away. Like I didn't know when I saw the figures because he said he was going out because his friends. You'd seen in the past like his friends come to meet him in that spot.
It was the way it was filmed. Okay. It was just the shot. The directorial choice told me these people were dangerous, and I got, okay, this is why they've tried to make me care about this family all episode, because now we're going to have a reason to care. Like, like there's now a kidnap
Yeah, and
victim.
he had like a sweet moment with his mom before he went out too, where he asked to borrow her sandals, and then she
Mm.
looks outside after, before she does her prayer, and she sees him, and he's like playing around with the sandals outside, and he's just like a sweet boy, and you're like, oh,
And
it's a nice moment, and she's smiling at him.
and she hears, when he goes missing, she just hears a car noise. We don't see it, because we see these two figures coming towards him from a distance. We go to her, and then when she hears a car or whatever, she looks outside, and he's just not there. It's just empty street, and that's what we end the
Yeah, and
episode
it's
on.
just like
Yeah,
sudden dread.
yeah,
Like, oh, you were
yeah.
safe.
And
You did it.
obviously,
You made it.
he's not kidnapped by the same people, because this is obviously retaliation. This is extremists on the Jewish side who are looking for
Right.
revenge. Um,
Right.
so
I mean, they were chanting it in the streets.
yeah, they're actually chanting revenge, which is actually the Jewish kid. He ends up chanting angrily with them, and his story, I think, seems to be less of a like an innocent person, they'll say, than someone who's becoming more indoctrinated in the anger.
Right.
That seems to be his story throughout the episode.
Which is an interesting, I mean, side as I don't you normally see that
Hmm.
on in film. Normally it's like, the Hamas side that is that is depicted in the Arab side, and you don't normally see the Jewish side as extremists. But in this rallying that they do, I mean, the chants go very quickly from a prayer to revenge and hate crime,
Yeah,
like
no, I guess
slaughter. You're
extreme.
like, oh, this is getting really bad, really fast.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
because
scary, like to see like the boys, like because he clearly is on a path that he's not sure if he wants to be on, and with his religion he seems to be a little bit
yeah,
conflicted.
because he seemed like he was in like the religious school to like go, either become a rabbi or whatever. And he
Mhm.
seems to have left it at some point, but like recent events of like people are trying to talk him into going
Didn't they
back.
say that someone say that he was in prison or like juvie or something, whatever the equivalent was?
They might have done. They might have done. Um, because the other guy, there's like an older guy who hangs around with him sometimes, who's trying to talk him
Yeah.
into, oh hey, come to my family business. You can be a regional manager or something like that. He says to him, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
have the 17-year-old walk in and be regional manager. That'll go well. It wasn't actually regional manager. I'm just saying regional manager because of Michael Scott. But
No, you're right. I think I heard something. It
yeah,
seemed like a
I think
it was definitely a management
it was
position.
branch manager. I think it was branch manager.
Mhm.
But um, so it's like he's faced with this choice, and while the chanting is on, he it has that moment where he kind of joins in, like he's kind of like stoic and silent for a bit, but then he starts to join in and becomes part of the
Mhm.
crowd. And it's kind of like
It's hard to resist a mob.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
becoming indoctrinated with the anger. So we're seeing this from multiple sides. We're seeing this from someone who gets angry, and I think because we're focusing on him, he might actually either go very extreme, and it's going to be like a very big tragedy on his side, or he'll be someone who maybe by the end of the show realizes that he has went down a dark path and he doesn't want to be that. Or maybe he'll have an arc in that sense.
Right.
And I'm kind of talking. I'm talking about it because at the start of the show, it does point out that this is based on true events, but names have been changed for some people and things like that.
Right.
And
And some of the characters have been
yeah,
made for drama
yeah.
reasons.
So I do wonder. Like I'm kind of looking at these characters as fictional characters, and they might be loosely based on real people. They might not be. But just as in terms of them having arcs, I'm expecting arcs in a way that you wouldn't get from just based it on real people kind of thing.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
Chernobyl had to have the courtroom scene, which never really happened, just to give it like a climax, to give it some
Right.
oomph at the
Which
end.
was so great.
Oh, so good. Do you know what's funny? Me and Carl have been reviewing The Boys. We just finished season 1 from Amazon.
Mhm.
Surprisingly good show. Like, because when I saw the trailers, I was
Yeah, my
like,
sister's been telling me to watch it.
yeah. When I saw the
She loves
trailers,
it.
I was like, this looks like it may be like trying to be edgy. I was getting like Kick-Ass 2 vibes, but it's actually
Mhm.
way more Kick-Ass 1 because it has a heart. Like, even though it's doing all this stuff and it's really violent at times and it's got this satire and it's dealing with really harsh subjects, it has a heart. And there's a moment in the second last episode. Do you know the moment in the courtroom in Chernobyl that
Mhm.
like you want to fist pump because someone does something, and you really
Yeah.
feel the emotion? There's a very similar moment in the episode of The Boys that made me think of
So
that.
it's a good payoff
It's
then.
a, it's
All
a good
right.
it's a good little payoff. It's not as amazing as that one, but it's like really solid and similar
Well,
and
Chernobyl's a 10 out of
vibe.
10. So
Yeah. And it's got a really great payoff to one of the characters in the finale, I thought as well. But
Okay, cool.
but I always wanted to bring it up because you love Chernobyl, and I wanted to mention how it made me think of Chernobyl. So no, I'm on board. I think by the end of the episode, I think it's very slick how it's directed. It feels very sort of, it feels very sort of like down and dirty and in the face of all the people that it's following, kind of thing. It almost does feel like a documentary crew who are being invasive and like being like in there. A lot of shaky cam, a lot of handheld kind of thing.
Yeah, it feels real, It's especially that all the family scenes felt very real to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very invested in I think he's going to be our main guy, the Simon.
Yeah.
And he seems pretty neutral. Like I think it was purposely shown like him being with his brother, who I think is a rabbi, who was very, very religious, and his mother too is very religious. And I think they purposely show that he doesn't wear like the what's it called, like
yarmulke.
He doesn't wear any traditional garb. His hair is cut differently than the rest of his family and the more religious people. So I think he might be a step kind of removed from that, which would be interesting to watch his progression in this. And yeah, I'm curious. I want to learn more about this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel like when I first started watching foreign movies, and I was like watching a film that was made in Japan, and it's just Japanese culture in a way that I'd never seen before because I never watched. It's been a while since I felt that way because I've watched a lot of Japanese movies, I've watched a lot of French movies, I've watched a lot of like all these different countries that make movies, not commonly. I feel like I've experienced enough movies now that it doesn't feel as alien to me anymore. But I have never seen something set in Israel like this, so I feel like I'm learning a lot about just how the world is and like how it works and what it's like to be there. So
yeah, I agree. And this is something that's so recent.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's only 5 years ago. Like it's not
right.
This is not ancient history at all. Like so no. No, really solid. I am looking forward to checking out more of it, and I guess you can expect our boys' reviews for next 9 episodes. So.
And you can check out the boy reviews that you do with Connor.
The boys and our boys, and then there's going to be those boys, and then maybe these boys.
I think Our Boys is a interesting title though, because at first you think it's about the boys that were taken from the beginning, but we see now that there are boys that are being shown from both sides of, the line, whatever you want to call it.
I think the meaning of the title is really clear. It's all of our young men are being brought up in this world where they're being forced into being this thing or that thing when we shouldn't be doing that to them. We should be. The future will only get better if we cultivate a future where they can choose to be what they are and not live in this world with this tension and so on and so on. As with anything like this, it's a what's the word I'm looking for? When a story's a warning, it's a
cautionary tale.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That's not the word I was looking for, but we'll go with that. That works just as well. Yes.
Okay.
As well. And my foot just went to sleep. Oh my god. Okay. But that has been the episode 1 review of Our Boys. So hopefully you had fun with the episode. Hopefully maybe you want to go check it out because we said it was good. Which always pleases me, by the way, because just to go back to The Boys, the amount of people who said they only tried it because they watched our first review. And we were so positive on it, and they were all happy they tried it, and they'd all binge through it, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah, that happened with Dark also, right?
It did, yeah. Some people checked out Dark, yeah, because of our reviews. So hopefully we spread some love for this, and people check it out, and they'll come back for more reviews. So let us know what you think of the episode. If you saw it in the comments below, like and subscribe, all that stuff. You can get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support everything we do, you can, of course, rate the podcast, the audio podcast, on your podcast app, Apple Podcasts or whatever. Give us a 5-star review and a little comment. Helps with people finding our content. Obviously, you can find The Boys on this same podcast feed, But if you want the Netflix shows we do, there's a separate podcast feed which is Netflix original reviews. So just, you can find that. But you can also support us financially. How can they do that, Tara?
Well, you can check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/MildFuzzTV. You can donate as little as $1 per month, and that dollar gets you bonus episodes for other shows we do, like the ACE, the Atomic Cinema Experiment, which is the science fiction movie review show that Peter and I do together. So if you like watching us do reviews, that's one we do together. Check it out.
There you go. Beautiful. Perfect. My foot is graduated from numb and asleep to pins and needles. Yes, that's where I am at the current moment in time. So I thought I'd give you an update. But that is us. That has been episode 1 of Our Boys. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?